Welcome. In this tutorial, we will discuss how to register SmartLiving control panels on the Inim Cloud and the services that Inim Cloud offers. All that is necessary is to connect the control panel in the network via the SmartLAN G or SmartLAN SI board, or make use of the Nexus G. In the latter case, however, the Nexus will no longer perform its telephone functions, but will be used only to transmit data to the cloud. If you have a network board and want to use the Nexus G for standard phone functions, you must go to the Telephone Parameters page and select the Exclude Nexus from Cloud option. To use Inim Cloud services, you will need the following firmware and software versions. In order to register the control panel on the cloud, you must go to the SmartLiving System Configuration section and assign a name to it. For example, Smith's House. You must then select the Cloud Mode option, which has been included to simplify programming. This option updates the date and time that must be correct when you register the control panel on the cloud. Additionally, number 12 is programmed as Cloud and is set on the events to be sent. Of course, you must always send the programming data to the control panel. Now, let's register on Inim Cloud. Go to www.inimcloud.com. Select Register, select Register as Installer, enter your personal details, continue, enter your company details. Read and accept the terms for the verification of the NACE codes associated with your VAT number, and also the privacy policy. Inim reserves the right to remove any account whose details are not valid. Check the entered data and confirm. At this point, you are registered. You will receive an email with the link to confirm your registration. Click on the link. The account is confirmed. At this point, you can go to the login page. You will receive another email containing a unique installer ID that allows you to register the control panel on the cloud. Now, let's go back to the login page. Use your credentials to obtain access. Click on Go to Inim Cloud. For now, your account has no control panels bound to it. Let's see how to register the control panel on the cloud. From a keypad, access Settings Installer 9999 at default. User functions, activations, cloud enrollment, and then enter the installer ID. At this point, you have to choose who to assign the control panel ownership to. At factory default, it is the user, in fact. This option is disabled. Press OK and the account created message will appear. Press OK and exit. Go back to the cloud page. On the top right, you have the notifications area, which is present on every menu. Having just registered a new control panel, you will find a notification in the New Installations section. You can now access the New Installations page and associate the control panel with a new customer or to an existing one. This is purely personal data. The customers that are created in this section are not bound to the customer accounts that can manage the system. At this point, the new installations page is blank, whereas the control panel can be found in the customers page. Here you can see the active events for the respective customer and filter them by type. The colors help you to understand the type you are viewing. Now let's access the customer page. Via the lock icon, you can either change the data or delete it from the customer list. Below are the control panels associated with the customer. By clicking on the lock icon, you can reload the configuration or remove the control panel from the customer. In this case, the control panel will become available again in the new installations page, and you can associate it with a new customer or an existing one. You can indicate the address of the control panel in the address box. The Find Address button will perfect the location and also indicate the geographical coordinates. The Map button will allow you to see the position of the system on Google Maps. Using this key, you can unbind the control panel from the installer account. In this case, you must go back to the system and repeat the registration procedure. You can also ask the user who has ownership for the control of the system. By pressing on the control panel name, the menu on the left will show the system options. The Scenarios page shows the programmed scenarios and the partitions involved in each one, as well as the partitions that are armed and the bypassed zones. The Partitions and Zones page provides the detailed status of the partitions and their associated zones. The Smart Home page provides the details of the system outputs. The Climate page shows the status of keypad thermostats. As with the other pages in the installer account, you cannot carry any operations on the system, but only view its status. The System page shows the status of the system peripheral devices, the firmware version, and the supply voltage. The Events page shows all the system events. Here you can also filter them by type. Via the check icon, you can mark them as red with the relative decremented notification. You can also store and read them via the archive icon. The other icons allow you to carry out searches based on names or specific periods, save the events in a file on your computer, and read the system events log. You can also find the events list under Home. This is relative to all the control panels bound to the installer account. Also here you can filter events by type, and the colors help you understand exactly what you are viewing. Via the check icon, you can mark them as red, with the relative decremented notification, or you can use the bell icon to mark as red all events of the same type. Instead, the events related to the cloud are marked as red by clicking on the notification icon. The Calendar page allows you to schedule your maintenance interventions. Whereas the Lock icon allows you to change or delete them. On the Notification page, you can select which type of events to receive an email for and add additional mailboxes. The last two icons allow you to log out and change the settings of your account. Via the cloud, you can also carry out system reading and writing. Let's go to Settings, Application Data. Select Communication Type, Connection via Cloud. Enter your username and password. Then press Login. The software proposes all the control panels of this type associated with your account. Check the connection. At this point, you can carry out system reading and writing. You can also make a backup of your programming solutions through the cloud. Let's save our solution. Click on Database, Export, Cloud Backup of Solution. Select the solution you want to export and click on Export. To download a programming solution saved on the cloud, click on Database, Import, Cloud Restore of Solution. Let's read the solutions present on the cloud. Select the one you want to download on your PC and click on Load Selected. From this menu, you can also delete programming solutions saved on the cloud. Any programming solutions imported from the cloud will not overwrite those on the PC. In fact, now you have two programming solutions in the database, one saved earlier and the one imported from the cloud. Let's register the user account. Go to www.inimcloud.com. Click on Register. Choose to register as a user. Enter personal data. Read the privacy policy. Check the data. Confirm. You will receive an email confirming the account. Click on the confirmation link. At this point, the account is confirmed and you will be able to access the cloud page. Click on Go to Inim Cloud. A temporary number will be provided that must be entered on the control panel. From the keypad, go to Menu, enter user code, Activations, Cloud Enrollment. Enter the temporary number that is shown on the cloud page and press OK. The control panel must have already been registered on the cloud by the installer. Now the control panel is bound to your account. Click on Show Panel Details. The cloud requires you to enter the PIN that allows you to operate the control panel. Therefore, 0001 at factory default. And access the home page. At the top, you can see the name of your system and choose another if you have more than one. On the right, you have indication that you are the admin. In other words, the main user of the system, and indication regarding the supervisor. In other words, the installer who installed and registered the control panel on the cloud. When your control panel verifies events and sends them to the cloud, your page will show the list of these events and their relative notifications on the top right of the page. This notification area is present on all the pages of the cloud. On the Events page, you will find the list of all the events the control panel has sent to the cloud. It is possible to filter them by type, mark them as read via the check icon with the relative decremented notification, or mark them all as read via the bell icon. The cloud events are marked as read by clicking on the respective notification icon. The other icons allow you to carry out a search by type or specific period, save the list to a file on your PC, read the control panel events log, read previously stored events by means of the respective button. Let's go back to the home page. In the Scenarios section, you can see the active scenario or activate one of the program scenarios. In the Smart Home section, you can activate the outputs associated with your code. Under Climate, you can see the status of the keypad thermostats. Finally, you can see if there are any armed partitions or bypassed zones, and if required, unbypass them. Let's see the details of all these sections in the menu on the left. In the Scenarios page, you have a list of all the program scenarios. You can see the active scenario and activate another. As with the home page, you have the details of the armed partitions and bypassed zones. In the Partitions and Zones page, you have the details of the partitions and their associated zones which you can bypass or unbypass. In the Smart Home page, you have a list of all your code-associated outputs which you can enable or disable. In the Climate page, you can program the thermostats on the keypads. It is possible to view the current temperature and see whether the thermostat is active or not. Adjust the temperature. Change the operating mode, for example from manual to daily, and, via the Set key, adjust the temperature for each time slot. And finally, select either winter or summer operating mode. In the System page, you can see all the peripheral devices on your system, the firmware version, the supply voltage, and the status. On the Notifications page, you can select which type of events to receive an email for, add mailboxes, and choose whether or not to have push notifications on your app. Let's go back to the Home page. The last two icons on the upper right side of the page enable you to log out and go to your profile page. Via the My Profile Settings button, you can change your personal data and information. At the bottom, you can find the list of mobile devices bound to your account, which is currently empty, and the separate windows of all your systems. Via the lock icon, you can reload the system configuration. The key icon confirms that the system ownership belongs to your user account. The button next to it allows you to unbind the system from your account. The other button will allow you to unbind the control panel from the account of your installer, who must return to the system in order to rebind it by means of the registration procedure. If you want to bind a new system to your account, simply click on the Add button. This will generate a new temporary number that will allow you to bind the new system as you did for the first one. If your control panel is bound to several user accounts, and if you are the admin user, in the System page, you can delete all the other users or transfer the role of admin user. Let's see what happens when system ownership belongs to the installer instead of the user. First, attain access via your installer account. Go into the System page of your client. The key icon confirms that ownership belongs to the installer. It is possible to disable all the bound users, block the generation of temporary passwords for new customers, transfer ownership to the user, remove your account. In this case, having ownership, the control panel will be removed from the cloud for all users, and it will be necessary to repeat the registration procedure. Now let's see what occurs in the user account when ownership belongs to the installer. On the top right, the key icon confirms that ownership belongs to the supervisor, in other words, the installer. In the System page, it is possible to unbind the account and that of other users, since you are the admin user, but the control panel will still be supervised by the installer who maintains ownership. Now let's see how to configure the Alien Mobile Plus app. Start the app. Go to Settings, Control Panel. On the top right, you find the Cloud section. Enter your user account and password and click on Login. Automatically, the app will load all the systems bound to your account. Let's go back to the main screen. Now you are connected to the control panel. For example, let's go to the Commands page. Activate the boiler output. It will be necessary to enter your user code 0001 and turn it off. The app will allow you to receive notifications on your device in accordance with those you have decided to receive. By clicking on them, you can access the list of the events that have occurred. Using the icons at the top, you can see the different types of events, such as alarms, faults, and all other events. Or within the app, you can press the Notifications button and display the list of events. If at this point you access your user account, in the list of mobile devices, you will find the one on which you used the Alien Mobile Plus app bound to the cloud. If you press Delete, you must repeat the login procedure on your app. Thank you for following this tutorial on the Inim Cloud.